ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for coming this afternoon. I understand some of you are so excited you can't even stay in your seats. Well, I hope you're ready. Are you ready? I hope you're ready for suicide. It was you, wasn't it? I hope you're ready for suicide. I hope you're ready for piety, for perversion, for mutilation. I hope you're ready for scientific anomalies far too wretched to be described in mere words. And I am not talking about primetime television, ladies and gentlemen. No. I am talking about the subject of today's show. And that subject is gender blur. Hot. Very hot, I know. But you look liberal enough. But you wouldn't be here today unless you were. Am I right? Of course I'm right. We are well-fed, well-educated people. We are creative. We want to write the script called America. And we want the starring roles. But we do not want to be confused with the bit players. So we do not cross clearly defined lines. And what's the most clearly defined line of all? Help me out here. That's right. It's the line marked girls' locker room. Men only. Ladies' room, boys' club, no girls allowed. Women's land, women born, women only. We're looking for a few good men, and you've come a long way, baby. But baby, don't cross that line. Don't ever cross that line. Ladies and gentlemen, today, you will meet people who do cross that line. Creatures from a world with which I hope you seldom have any contact. The world of gender blur, gender blur. We hate the very idea. We fear its consequences. We scorn its victims. We are terrified to be touched by the taint of this offensive illness, gender blur. Why mention it in public before men and women of good gender standing such as yourselves? Grinder's my name. L.C. Grinder, Doc Grinder. Proud of every moment of my life. Proud to have served humanity in audience situations just like this. Perhaps a bit larger. And for over 25 years, by bringing to light news of every disease known to man, woman, and child. But never before have I mentioned gender blur. Never before. Why now? Well, it could be the moon. Could be the earth, shaken under my feet. Could be its time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to brush aside the temptation to wax dramatic. Yes, I am. I'm going to cut right down to the bottom line. What's the bottom line? Help me out here. That's right, it's money. My money, your money, legal tender. Ladies and gentlemen, the boys and girls in marketing all know that advertisements and commercials do not sell products. No, advertisements and commercials sell what? That's right, sex and gender. And sex and gender sell what? Good, the products. Sex, because it's sex. And once you've had great sex, you're gonna want more. And if you've never had great sex, you'll buy anything hoping to get some. But gender, that's another can of worms. That's a different kettle of fish. That's another pea in a different pod. Simply put, once you buy gender, you'll buy anything in order to keep it. You'll buy anything. So the boys and girls in marketing have come up with the ultimate marketing strategy. We're not going to sell you any products this afternoon. No, we're going to sell you gender. And you want to buy it. You want to buy gender because you want to be relieved of that nagging feeling that you're not quite a man. That you're not quite a woman. You want to buy gender because you want to be secure in your gender identity. Am I right, young man? Oh, ma'am? That must happen a lot, am I right? You know what I'm talking about. Yes. You should not be smiling. Ladies and gentlemen, on with the show. Today you will meet not one, but two pitiful persons of doubtful and dubious gender identity. Their stories will shock you and will, I am sure, convince you of your need to define, enhance, and defend your own gender identity. In this portion of the stage, and through the magic of dramatic license, we shall peer into the past 100 years ago. We shall travel in time and through space to France in the last half of the 19th century. There you will meet a beautiful, pious young schoolgirl named Erskine Bardin. And before your very eyes, years shall pass as leaves falling from a tree, and you will observe her doubts, her fears, her worst dreams come true. If she were not so twisted, I could love her. A candle shall call forth her image. Now, in this portion of the stage, a most distasteful character, quite alive, I'm afraid, who will entertain us with stories from his unusual and quite offensive life. Mr. Herman Amberstone. Now, I'll be back from time to time just to see how you're doing with all this. And to play other parts of other characters as needed. I shall always appear in this portion of the stage. Hush. I feel the presence of our young French beauty coming to life. Do not interrupt her, or she will disappear.
Sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Oh, but Blessed Mother, I'm so happy to be alive today. It's my 12th birthday. Please don't let this be the hour of my death. Thank you. Amen. And now I need to speak with you, Blessed Mother. Don't think this bad, for I absolutely adore the day. I adore my school and my classmates and the sisters, and I do so look forward to becoming charming, sensible, literate, and happy, the way the sisters have promised. Sister Eleanor has said that the road to becoming charming, sensible, literate, and happy is marked by obedience. And I want to obey those that know better than me. It just seems at times that all know better than me. And I want to be obedient. It gets rather difficult. That's not why I wanted to speak with you, Blessed Mother. Last night I slipped from my dormitory again to visit Leah. I was so quiet, no one knew I was leaving. I took up at random the first object at hand, a little ivory crucifix with very pretty workmanship. Oh, you know the one, Holy Mother. And I slipped to the room I knew to be Leah's. I bent over her bed, and I kissed her several times. And I placed the crucifix around her neck, her white, soft, beautiful neck. And I said, "Here, my friend, accept this and wear it for me." Her beautiful blonde head came up toward me and thanked me with a kiss that was so soft and full of warmth. Mother of God, I do hope you're still praying for me. I had no sooner finished than I started hastily to go back the way I had come. Oh, Blessed Mother, I had not gone halfway when familiar footsteps made me tremble. It was my teacher, and she was behind me, and she had seen me. So, I've just come from the office of Mother Superior, where she told me she almost struck me from the list of those to take First Communion this year. You know how fond I am of Mother Superior. I began to weep. She motioned me to come toward her, and she stroked my hair. Forgiving me, oh Mother of God, I left Mother Gabrielle's office with my heart penetrated by the sweetest joy and the deepest gratitude. believe that I read too much. I know I am to be innocent, but I've a thirst for knowledge I'm told only boys may have. Nurses told me that unremitting study might unsex young girls, and yet I continue to read. Is this disobedience? Oh, please, give me an answer. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Oh, but please don't let this be the hour of my death.
This is my father's chair. One of the first rules I remember learning was that no girls were allowed to sit in this chair. Or if they did sit here, they had to pay a quarter. When I was older and I would bring different girlfriends to my parents' house for a visit, I remember I would wait until my mother and father had both gone upstairs. And then I'd sit in this chair with my girlfriend and we'd make out, and sometimes we'd even have sex on the warm leather. And I'd always leave a quarter on the cushion before going upstairs to bed with my girlfriend. I'm 4.5 years old. It's my first day of nursery school, the first social experience outside of my family. These are the days when the boys and the girls have to play separately, so I start to go off with the other little girls, and this teacher, well, I don't know her name, but I call her Miss Tissue because she always has a tissue in her sleeve. Miss Tissue says, "No, no, dear, that's the line for the little girls." And I say, "I know, I'm a little girl." And you know that look that grown-ups can give you? The one that says you're loathsome and sick and vile and about to be abandoned? Well, she gives me that look. I know I'm going to have to pretend to be a little boy from now on. Hey-loo. I'm studying for my bar mitzvah. I just know that when I reach 13, I'm going to be a man. Well, I never really believed that, but I'm so tired of pretending to be a boy, and I just hope the ceremony does its job. On my way to Hebrew school, I passed this deli. It has the National Enquirer in the window. You know, stuff like, "Parents boil baby and eat it." This week it has this beautiful blonde woman on the cover and a huge headline that says, "She was a he." Oh, my heart stops. I try to read the article through the store window, but it begins on page 3, and I know if anyone sees me trying to read it the way I am, they're going to know I'm a girl. The jinx will be up. So, I pass this store window 4 school days in a row. I know that by next week the paper will be gone, so on Friday I go in and I buy the paper. I never have before, so I know the people in the store will think I'm weird, just like the beautiful blonde woman on the cover. It's Christine Jorgensen. XGI, now a blonde bombshell. Look out, guys, that blonde cutie you're dating might have been one of Uncle Sam's finest men. And then a quote from her. "I'm happy to have become a woman, and I hope more people who are as unhappy as I was before will follow my example." I read the article over and over and over for a week, then I burn it. It won't be for another 30 years that I read about Herculine Barbin and fall in love with her. But back to the story. It's an 8th grade English class, and I read more than I ever wanted to know about gender. My teacher's Mr. Blunt. Good afternoon, Mr. Blunt.
Herman, good afternoon, class. Today's lesson involves pronouns and gender. It's very important to use the correct pronoun to refer to the correct person. Stop the snickering in the back row. All right, I'm only going to say say this once, so you better take notes. I'm not going to repeat myself. Pronouns and gender. I has no gender. Neither does you. He and she definitely have a specific gender, which is, of course, very helpful to all of us. Because we doesn't have a gender either, does we? Back to he and she, or rather to him and to her. He is masculine, except when he is universal. That means him and her and all of us, who has no gender still. She is feminine, except of course when she is inanimate, like a ship or a salad. But 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, am I right? We still doesn't have a gender. You plural doesn't have a gender either. Unlike him and her, they has no gender whatsoever, which I will admit introduces some confusion, but we're almost finished, so live with it. It has no gender at all. Except, of course, when it refers to an infant about whose gender we are uncertain, not unlike me, or you. There will be a quiz next Tuesday.
Grandpapa? Grandpapa! Puffy, you've a letter from Paris from your sister. Shall I read it to you? Of course I shall. Let me light another candle. I don't know why you so love dark corners. There now. My dearest Baptistin, I know it's been ages since I've written you, so my warmest greetings to you, dear brother. And to you, sweet Herculine. She's writing me also. I know you are reading this to my crusty old brother. Your ghoulish grandfather adores sitting in the darkest corners of his house, so go, girl, and light another candle. Carmilla knows us each so well, Puppy, one would think she could read minds. Very well, then. Today I was accused, in all sincerity, and by an otherwise sober gentleman, of being a vampire. Paris is going mad. I moved here 20 years ago because the Parisians celebrated artists and courtesans. Artists and courtesans. Alas, now they call us vampires. Truly, vampires are all the rage now. Well, that's true, but the sisters will not permit us to speak of vampires. From what I can piece together, loose women such as I are vampires because we desire the essence of men's fluids and will stop at nothing to procure these precious fluids. Piffle. I've not been interested in a single man since Henri died, and that was over 15 years ago. Babette and I have quite a comfortable arrangement, thank you very much. She is more of a woman than the frivolous coquettes who parade the left bank, and, I confess, more of a man than my sweet departed Henri. More of a woman than the frivolous coquettes, and more of a man. Oh, I know more than a few unusual girls like this at the convent school. Oh, Herculine, I'm so sorry if I shock you, but according to my calculations, you are now 17 years old. 17 years and 5 months, thank you. And it's about time you heard about life in Paris. As if I didn't know about life in Paris. Do come visit me, Herculine, and we can be vampires together. They say now that we women are creatures of darkness, that we belong only to the night, the moon, and the stars, Herculine. Brother dearest, you men, of course, have inherited the sun, the warmth, and the day. Ha! Oh, ha! The irony is that I dare not go out in the streets at night for fear of personal injury. It's true there are no men out at night, only beasts.
If I am a vampire, then they are the werewolves. She must be speaking in metaphors. Yes, she is. Speaking of blood, my anemia is much improved. I stop round the slaughterhouse with other blood drinkers for my daily cup of ox blood, and that seems to help. Perhaps this medicine only further shows I am a vampire. Dear brother, I am enclosing for your pleasure Rashid's latest novel, Mr. Venus. It's a delightful story of a woman who keeps a man as her male mistress in an apartment, watching him grow fat and slothful and passive in response to her possessive behavior. Well, this is rubbish, grandfather. Still, I suppose it is readable. Herculine, promise me you will become no man's mistress. I must run, my dears. The moon is rising, and I feel the urge to bite the neck of my sweet Babette. If she insists on doing these perversities with another woman, why does she insist on talking about them? Why to me? Why to me? Your loving sister and aunt, Carmilla. Vampires and artists, really. Poppy, do you think that someone, anyone, would go to hell for doing what Aunt Carmilla is doing with Miss Babette?
I'd read anything I could get my hands on. Anything that would tell me what I was, who I was, what gender I was. Herculine learned about being a woman from the nuns, from her aunt, the vampire. I watched television. I read Life magazine. I began to study acting. With each man's part I played, I learned more about how men were supposed to act. I was a good actor. In the late 60s, I played the part of this motorcycle tough guy who could get all the women he wanted. Had no idea where to start. So my director had to coach me on how to move, how to talk, what to wear. I wore these dark glasses and this leather jacket. Real bad boy drag. I even grew my sideburns, yes I did. Bad boy. My director, he had to teach me how to walk. Not like that, he'd say as I'd saunter across the stage. Not like that. You lead with your pelvis. Walk this way. It's a pelvic thrust, he'd say. And together we'd walk around the stage like that. It was dark on the stage. There were only a few rehearsal lights. And I had these dark glasses on. I couldn't see. And walk this way, he'd say. So I let my penis do the walking, and I went along for the ride, taking notes. I had lines like, women are not individuals, but types. No, not even types, just women. They want to surrender, but they don't want the responsibility of surrendering. And I thought to myself, yeah, is that it? And I'd walk my walk and I'd talk my talk, and I learned to get women. Yes, I did. I learned to do whatever I had to do in order to get women. And I learned that once I got her, she'd do anything. I learned. I'd walk this way, and the women would line up outside my dressing room door. They wanted that stud. I learned to be that stud. They They wanted the leather jacket and they wanted the eyes they couldn't see, and I wanted them. So that's who I became. I wanted every one of those women. And one by one, I fucked them, they fucked the character they'd just seen on stage, and I fucked them over! And every night, the line outside the stage door got longer, and every woman on that line convinced me I was a man. I learned. I was that stud. I learned. I had the Marlboro Man by the balls, and I could fuck like the best of the boys, so I couldn't be a woman. Not if I loved women so much. I learned. How could I be a woman? How could I?
Strange as it seems, he still feels like a woman. Now that's gender blur. But we don't think about our genders day and night, not like these poor victims, no. Well, not until someone calls you sir again. Not until someone says you're behaving far too effeminately. No. Experts agree. We don't even think about gender in terms of ourselves. No. It's not until we see someone walking down the street and we're not sure whether it's a man or a woman. Did you ever wonder why you can't stop staring until you decide one way or the other? It really bothers you, doesn't it? Now, we don't have to know somebody's age. Their race may be somewhat indistinct, and we might be mildly curious. We can look at someone and think, are they gay? Are they straight? But we don't have to know. We can wonder. Yet, we insist. And this is the curiosity. We insist that a person be one gender or the other, and we remain quite unsettled until we decide one way or the other. It's part of our conscience, isn't it? Now, as to conscience, I suppose we really should thank religion. It seems to be their chief task to ensure that we all have more or less the exact same conscience. My rod and my staff shall comfort me.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I fear I am becoming a vampire. My aunt is a vampire, and she wrote me what it means to be one. My passion for God is at war with my passion for my studies. I am reading at every opportunity, and with every bit of knowledge I gain, I lose more and more of my innocence. I'm falling away from all that is womanly. I'm not interested in motherhood. I'm not the least bit interested in arts and crafts. 2 men have proposed marriage to me, and my response is revulsion. My body is changing. I do do not yet desire blood as does a true vampire, but I do desire a vampire's natural prey, namely other women. I've lustful thoughts and intentions for Therese, a student in my dormitory. I've kissed her several times, and I take every opportunity I can to be near her and to feel her so warm near me. I'm frustrated by my own timidity, and at times I wish to play the part of a man with her. Father, I fear I am becoming a man. Listen to me. I know that carnal deeds are harmful and sinful. Why do I hunger so for Therese? How can I have a woman's passion for life and a man's thirst for knowledge? How can I have a woman's yearning for peace with my God and a man's lust for women? What am I, Father? My sins? It was several nights ago. It was during the storm. I had stolen to the bed of my Therese. I was stroking her hair, inhaling her scent, listening to her breath, her sighs, and then that awful clap of lightning and that horrible stroke of thunder. Oh, Father, I felt the hand of our Lord pushing me away from Therese, and I fought that. And though the wind howled and the nuns raised their voices in prayer, I held Therese and she held me, and with each peal of thunder we kissed and breathed our fear and exultation into each other's mouths until we were both exhausted. If I am becoming a vampire, or if I am becoming a man, and I am falling away from God. What am I?
I pray each night to wake up and be a woman. I pray in detail. Details like the taste and scent of every woman I'd slept with. Not their names. I was too stoned for their names. But details like going to bed nights, sometimes alone, mostly not. And every night I'd pray that I'd wake up and be a woman, and every morning I'd wake up with a hand on my cock. Sometimes my hand, mostly someone else's hand. God, they love my cock. And I never had the courage to say, you do? You really do? Well, hey then, take it. Have it. Put it on the wall of your bed. Just get it away from me. And it wasn't the cock so much as what the cock had me trapped in. And I thought to myself, girl, you are one evil son of a bitch. You are one sick puppy. You had better crawl back into the hole you've been trying to dig yourself out of. Yes, sir, girl. And then one day in Boston, Massachusetts, lights went on. These big old 400-watt bulbs went on in my brain and lit up corners of my mind I wished I'd swept up years before. I needed to find the answer to the world's problems, not mine. So I quit graduate school. I got in my VW camper with my I Ching and my tarot cards, my miso and sprouts, and I headed off to Denver to climb a mountain and come down with the answer to the world's problems. I needed hiking boots, so I went into the store was closed. But next door there was this poster of this old monk in a cave holding up a torch and opening a treasure chest, and it said, abandon your tedious search, the answers have been found. And I thought, far out, what is this church of diabology anyway? And I went in and these folks were eating pizza. And I thought, wow, enlightened and eating pizza. I picked up one of their books and they were on to me. Whole sections about perverts like me and how sick we were. Homosexuals, lesbians, rapists, politicians, and psychiatrists. And I thought to myself, yeah, well, If they can see how sick and twisted I am, then this is the group for me. And 6 years later, I'm their leading spokesman in Europe and the Eastern United States. I'd give these lectures. I'd sell immortality. For $250 an hour, I'd sell this stuff thinking, this is my spiritual penance. Man, this is what I need to do so that next lifetime I can be born a woman. Well, everyone wants immortality. It's a surefire sale. You want it, don't you? Oh, I don't mean in the same body. See, you get to choose your parents next time around. Neat, huh? And you can get started for only $25,000. And they wrote the checks. They just kept on writing those checks. I gave them a show. One day I'm in my New York sales office and this woman comes in. She says she needs to speak to me. I ask her to sit down. She does. And she's crying. Only she's going, boo! Just like that. Boo! Nobody cries like that. And some of the other sales reps are standing behind her laughing real quiet. They know her. See, they're just busting a gut, shaking like jelly, turning all red, and she's going, boo! And it turns out she's a transsexual. She's had this operation to make her a woman. Now that she's gotten into diabology, they've convinced her she's done the wrong thing. And she wants to know if she pays me enough money, can she grow another cock? And they're still standing behind her laughing. And I have to say, I don't know if you can grow another cock. I don't know what I can do for you. I just don't know. I left the Church of Diabology soon after that. I found out that the money I was making was going into the Swiss bank accounts of the founder, and I was free to explore my gender blur. I began asking questions.
Queries, conundrums, bones of contention, questions, quests. Did you ever go on a quest to discover your gender identity? You never had to sort out that one, did you? No, of course not. None of us do. Some of you should. But let us return in time. Our beautiful 19th century heroine has graduated and has obtained a teaching position in a private school for girls. 2 years have passed, and Hercules is once again carrying on, having an affair with another woman. Sarah, the daughter of the headmistress. That is, until the night the pains began for Hercules, and a doctor had to be called in. It seems the good doctor found the source of Hercules' pains to be a pair of perfectly healthy testicles descending into her labia. Her otherwise perfectly formed vagina opened onto no uterus. It was a dead end. Her clitoris was found to be an intriguing 2 inches long. How did I know you'd like that part? Bear witness now to what the doctor found, and to the questions, the queries, conundrums, bones of contention. Questions.
Why is he asking me all these questions? What is causing me all this pain? When did I last have my menstrual flux? I never have. Oh, doctor, please, may I have more laudanum? No man has ever seen me like he's seeing me now. I want his hands to stop touching. Oh, Sarah, I wish you were here to hold my hand. No, I don't.
No, I don't. Oh, when does the laudanum begin to ease the pain, doctor? Descending? What does he mean by descending? Testicles? Did he say that? Have I ever what? How many men? None! I grow somewhat lightheaded. The laudanum. Of course. I'm a vampire. No, only women. Suck? Yes, of course. What? Drain me of whose fluids? Doctor, the only men I've had in my life are the priest, my grandfather, and now you. What's in that jar? One what? Two. What are those? Get those leeches away from me! Please! No! Not up inside me! 3, 4 leeches! Am I losing my mind? He has counted them aloud, saying he wishes not to lose any! Leeching a vampire! Oh, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Oh, Jesus, I feel them moving inside me. Oh, Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us vampires now and in the hour of our death. And please let this be that hour. What? Has what gotten longer? Oh, that. Sarah calls that my man part. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, my love. Yes. Yes, it has. Since my arrival at the school. I've become a what? No, I am a woman. I am sensible, I am charming, I am literate, I am happy, I am what men are not. Men are to be busy, I am to be idle. Men are to be strong, I am to be weak. Men are to be rough, I am to be gentle. Men are rational, I am rational. I must be a man. What? Yes, of course, my lord. I have no what? Uterus. What in heaven's name is a uterus? Oh, Sarah. Sarah, you're saying I am a man. Saying I am a man and I must obey him, for I am nothing if I am not obedient. Sarah. 2 women cannot be lovers. This is obscene. Poor leeches are growing fat on the last traces of my womanhood, and soon I will be nothing but a man. I'm a man. I have questions, doctor. I do not question you. But I have questions. I am a man. A man can question things, can he not?
Questions? Did somebody say questions? That can mean only one thing. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us tonight is our current champion. Over 30 years of successfully answering questions, and tonight is the final night. The night for the grand prize. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome our returning champ, Herman Amberstone. the grand finale round of What's My Gender? What's My Gender? The fun question and answer game brought to you by Doc Grinder's famous elixir, Gender Defender, in the pink and blue bottle. And now, for our master, or is it mistress, of ceremonies, Elsie, Doc Grinder!
Thank you very much, Don. Thank you, Herman. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Herman, I know you're a champ at this, but I'm going to review the rules for our studio audience. We're going to be asking Herman a great number of very intimate questions. Anything and everything concerning his, or is it her, gender identity. There are no right answers, but our champion has to answer to the best of his, or is it her, ability and satisfaction. And now for his final round on What's My Gender? Herman, are you ready for your first question?
Yes, Elsie, I am.
All right, Herman. You may think you're a woman. Aren't you really just a gay man who's so afraid of being gay that the only way to have sex with a man is to be a woman?
No, Elsie, I've thought about that a lot. I don't want sex with men. I tried it a few times.
I'll bet he did.
Just to be sure, and no, I'm not cut out for that sort of thing, so no, I'm not a gay man.
All right, he's not a gay man. Just the first question. And now the this is a killer. You'll see it plenty of time. All right. Herman. Can't you just dress up like a woman occasionally, like a hobby?
It's not the clothes, Elsie. I feel I'm a woman no matter what I'm wearing.
Works for me. All right, and now the third question. Herman, do you have any idea of the privileges you'll be giving up that belong only to heterosexual white men, and the limitations you'll face as a woman?
Yes.
That's your answer? That's his answer. Hey! Totally unjustified, yes! All right, don't get carried away. All right, folks, we're going to break for a commercial announcement, and when we return, we'll ask him the final question before we ask him, what's his gender?
What's My Gender is brought to you by Doc Grinder's Gender Defender, the miracle elixir that keeps you straight. In pink bottles for the girls and blue bottles for the men. And now, back to our show!
Hi, and welcome back. Gosh, I can't believe it's been over 30 years of correctly answering questions, and here we are, the final question. Before we ask him what's his gender, are you ready, Herman?
As ready as I'll ever be, Elsie.
All right, big fella, good luck to you. Herman, how can you be a woman if you love women sexually and romantically?
My gender identity has nothing to do with my sexual preference. Gender identity for me answers the question of who am I? Sexual preference answers the question of who do I want to be romantically or sexually involved with. My being a woman does not mean I must love men. They are two separate issues.
Two separate. They're two separate issues. I've known that all along myself. All right, we're going to return to ask him what's his gender, but first, Don, why don't you tell our studio audience what our champion will win if he has the courage to go through with this?
All right, Elsie. And there's a lot to look forward to. He or she wins a name. It's a her gender. And he or she wins 1 dozen bottles of ice blue sea deodorant. Strong enough for a man, but gentle. And 2 dozen pairs of jockey shorts. or jockey for her, as the case may be. And 3 dozen pairs of Hanes support socks or support pantyhose. Either way, gentlemen prefer Hanes. And last but not least, Herman will win a lifetime supply of Doc Dryden Gender Defender. Gender Defender. 1 bottle and your fears disappear. 2 bottles and your family breathes a sigh of relief. 3 bottles and you can vote Republican.
Thank you, Don. Thank you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the grand prize, it's the final question. The killer conundrum, that bone of contention, Herman. For all those wonderful products, and for a lifetime supply of my gender defender, the miracle elixir that keeps you straight. And the pink bottle for the girls, the blue bottle for the men. What's your gender?
I'm a woman.
Given the luxury of self-examination. What?
Sorry, you almost stepped in some.
Thank you. I stepped in what?
Gender, it's all over the place. Be careful.
All right. Wait a minute! Are you telling me that you're sweeping up gender?
Well, yeah, the bucket's almost full. We lose a lot during the first act.
Tons. Just tons.
Oh, I see. And now there's gender all over the stage. Sure, I don't see it.
Well, I'm not surprised you're sitting on some.
Listen, you. I have one more monologue and then you're on. Hadn't you better get ready?
We have enough? Yeah, go ahead. I'll bring this back to the dressing room.
Okay. Bye, girls.
You put that down and get over here. Now, are you telling me you do this every performance?
Yeah, usually during the blackouts, but we have a better audience today. They lose some, we lose some, it adds up.
That's pretty good. Wait a minute! Get back over here. Are you telling me that everybody's gender is mixed up in there?
Yeah, so?
Oh. Are you saying that there's male and female mixed up in there?
Oh, you think male and female is gender? No, that ain't gender. Gender is the feeling that you need to be one or the other. Gender's the need to fit in, it doesn't matter to what. Gender's the need to belong, to be part of something. All the rest is sales, marketing, public relations!
Wait a minute, you kid! Feel any different? Don't say a word. acting to do?
Is this acting? Is this dialogue?
Hey, you guys! 5 minutes to the Marx Brothers bit.
Aw, gotta go. You're so cute when you're angry.
Please forgive the interruption. Ladies and gentlemen, today's entertainment is being brought to you by my famous elixir, Doc Grinder's Gender Defender. The medicine's so strong, you don't even need to take it in order for it to work. One look at the bottle and you know what you are. A pink bottle for the girls, a blue bottle for the men. But my Gender Defender is only the latest in a long line of medical accomplishments in the field of gender. Let us return to our two misfits and see how their doctors cared for them. You do know what care is, don't you? Care is a very curious blend of love and hate, with none of the messiness of commitment or responsibility. As in under your doctor's care. As in I care about you deeply.
Sarah. Sarah, are you awake? Of course you're not. The doctor said those powders would make you sleep until tomorrow. It's the only way I could leave you, dearest. I know you don't want me as a man, and I must leave for Paris to begin my life as one. I must needs obey the doctor. Sarah, I hope that someday you will come to see, as I have seen, why I must do this. According to the doctor, I'm a man chiefly because I cannot bear children. This mysterious uterus is present nowhere in my body. According to the good doctor, it was all the studying I did as a child that caused my uterus to vanish and my man part to begin to grow. Father Michael agreed with the good doctor that too much knowledge is incompatible with the innocence which is to be woman's nature. It's why I've loved women so intensely. And we both know how unnatural it is for two women to love one another as we have done. The good doctor went on to say that while he had heard I was an excellent teacher, that was just further proof that my nervous system had indeed become male. He's really quite taken with my state of affairs. He said that I'm evolving from a lower life form to a higher one, and that I will soon be able to enjoy power, knowledge, and more women than I could possibly imagine, once my man part grows in. He said that I must practice my manhood rigorously, for androgynous character is often accompanied by imbecility, and he caught me just in time, before my mind began to deteriorate. He said that up till now, I've lived my life as a pencil sketch, and I should be prepared for a life as full and rich as an oil painting. Sarah, you know I've never been happy with my lot. Perhaps I shall find happiness as a man. I am terrified. I know nothing of men, and I've been discontent with my life as a woman. I confess to a certain thrill at fulfilling a vast desire for the unknown. Can't you see? Can't you see that I'm too full of excitement and too full of myself to regret very dear times I'm breaking right now my own free will? Can't you see? This is my escape. This is my freedom. Until this door to manhood had opened, my road was that of virtual slavery, for that is woman's lot. I was never meant to be some man's wife, or indeed the serving maid of anyone. I only have to say this to you while you were awake. I was never brave. Perhaps that will come with time. And I'll come visit you and... No. That could never be. I could never face you again. Sarah. We yielded to each other's love. What will it take for me to fulfill my destiny as a man by conquering women, dominating their desires? For all this the doctor has promised me. Goodbye. My sweetest love. Forgive me one day.
I'm transsexual, I said to my wife. I'm not a lesbian, she said. Goodbye. I'm transsexual, I said to my friends. We don't know you, they said. Goodbye. I'm transsexual, I said to my mother. You're my child, she said. But for now, goodbye. I'm transsexual, I said to my boss. Can you still sell? He said, get back to work. I'll need time to go to the hospital, I said. Goodbye, he said. I'm definitely transsexual, I said to my first shrink. I wonder, he said, what would happen to our therapeutic relationship, he said, were he to leave his wife, his children, his home, and we were to shack up together, he said. Goodbye, I said! I'm transsexual, I said to the doctor's nurse on the phone. And I'd like an appointment. 2 o'clock next Friday, she said. Goodbye.
Never mind that nice dimple. Get the hospital on the phone. Get the Surgeon General on the phone. I just completed a sex change operation. I made a terrible mistake.
Doctor, whatever happened?
I forgot to remove half the patient's brain. I never know whether she's laughing or whether she's choking. Of course, that's the way it is with all my women.
Dr. Fraser, you've got a call waiting from Frank's Fresh Fish and Bait.
What do they want, Nice?
They want their money, Doctor.
How much do we owe them, Nice?
You owe them $9,000, Doctor.
That's the most expensive and delicate part of the whole sex change procedure.
What's that, Doctor?
Sewing in the day-old fish. She's definitely choking now.
Dr. Fraser, they're not the only creditors calling. Bill collectors have been calling all morning. They say they want their money and something will have to be done.
All right, Nice, we'll do something. Marry me and we'll move to the next stage.
Oh, Doctor.
Seriously, Nice, we need a new patient who's got lots of money.
Well, you have a Mr. Herman Amberstone coming in at 2 o'clock. That's any minute from now, Doctor.
That sounds promising.
Oh! Hello! Oh, you must be Dr. Razor. A good friend of mine told me you're an excellent sex change surgeon.
You just think that was a good friend of yours.
Nice dimple. I'll take care of the punchlines around here, unless of course you'd like a punch yourself. Yes, young fellow, what can I do for you?
Well, I'm here about a sex change.
Sex change? I know what a sex change is. What's a sex change? Sex of one, half a bosom of the other. Hold on there. I'll call in my associate, Dr. Wiener. Oh, Dr. Wiener!
Dr. Wiener, you masher!
Hello, Dr. Wiener! You don't say. You don't say. You don't say.
Well, what did he mean?
I don't know, he didn't say. Probably something very medical and very technical about the sex change procedure we're planning on using.
And what procedure do you plan on using?
For what, dollface?
To make a new vagina?
Oh.
That does it, I'm out of here.
Hold on there, young fellow. I'll have you know that we, Dr. Razor and Dr. Wiener, are tops in our fields. Why, we have diplomas from everywhere. And you won't find a better pair of surgeons in all of Philadelphia.
Oh, all right, you're the boss.
I'm the boss? Well, that's more like it. In that case, get right back to work. And you can forget about your promotion.
I'm not getting a promotion?
I should say not. You're becoming a woman, and that's a demotion if I ever heard of one. Now, are you going to have your boyfriend help you with the money for the surgery?
I don't have a boyfriend.
No boyfriend. Your fiancé, then?
No fiance.
No fiancé. You are seeing a man.
No.
Well, you are planning on getting married, settling down, adopting 2.3 children, a dog, a third of a cat, and a white picket fence.
Well, I think about a white picket fence and I have 2 cats.
2 cats? Are you telling me you're planning on becoming a lesbian?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Swell, that's been my favorite fantasy for years.
Well, you're not one of mine.
I couldn't agree more, Dr. Wiener. Why, you're obviously no real woman. You're nothing more than a wolf in cheap women's clothing. I have my morals, I have my standards, and I have my ideals. You can't be a real woman. Still, you're awfully cute. Can you get the money together for the surgery?
How much?
Well, let's see, the bait shop. I need $9,000, and I'll need it stacked, whatever that means.
I haven't got that much now.
Then go, and never darken my office door again. You want an orifice? Don't come to my office. Not until you can get the money together. I mean, not until you're more of a real woman. Good day, sir.
I'm a transsexual lesbian, I said. Goodbye, they all said. That's just too much to handle, they all said. One or the other, maybe, they all said, but both? They all said? Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Hello? It's now. It's what you've been waiting for. The woman destroys herself to envision man. The man destroys himself to envision woman. No simple masquerade this. To truly become the other gender, the first gender must be destroyed.
My name will be Abel, child of peace, victim of aggression, beloved of God, slain by his brother, mourned through the ages.
Sweet. And the boy.
My name will be Catherine. It's the name of a girl I wanted to be all the way through grade school.
Childish.
It's my child within.
Very well. Then walk in the sun, children. Let the flame of the public eye burn away the remnants of the woman, the man you have been all of your lives.
They're looking at me. Their eyes are burning me.
Look at me. Their eyes are burning me.
They're looking at me. Eyes are Is it my body? My skin? Looking at me? Is it my voice? That's a bird looking at me. Is it my hair? Is it my movement? Looking at me. Eyes are burning me. Is it my movement? Is it my ambition? To be a woman, I said to the man I once had been. Goodbye, he said. Oh God, I'm disappearing. It's as though I've come apart from myself. No longer a woman, not yet a man. Standing outside. Myself.
Have you ever remembered the exact moment you fell asleep on any given night? And a few minutes before maybe, or even a few moments afterwards, but the exact moment that divides awake from asleep. Never. My mother keeps trying to remember that moment. She says if she can remember that moment, if she can just capture that moment, she'll have a handle on death.
You're so beautiful.
You're so beautiful.
While they're watching?
Who?
Them.
Are you mad?
Seems like it.
While they're watching?
When I was young, I would hear voices in the thunder.
I would see faces in the branches against my bedroom window.
Oh, you're so beautiful.
You. Is this
Acting.
Is this dialogue?
Are we alive?
Have we ever been more alive? Are you breathing?
Can you feel me breathing?
I was taught in school that God created all creatures, both male and female,
So God was divisive from the start.
and that Adam was jealous of the love the beasts and birds could express to one another.
So instead of letting Adam learn to love himself, this God stepped in and split Adam in two and said, here, love something outside yourself.
That's not how I learned it, but yes. Yes.
I was taught in school that the greatest contribution to the field of mathematics was the concept of zero. I never knew zero till now.
Then zero is the point where people and their ideas move out beyond their boundaries to become their opposites.
That's not how I learned it. But yes. Yes.
Are we acting?
This is dialogue.
Do we have time?
While they're watching,
Are we mad?
most likely.
Then breathe.
Well, what's up? Said Doc. What's coming down? How's tricks? What's in a name?
What's your name?
Abel.
Oh, then you're a man.
Does it matter?
It's beginning to.
Your name is.
Kate,
Then you're becoming a man.
I'm becoming a woman.
Is this acting?
I think so. This is dialogue.
Neither shall remember having danced with the other. Fragments, sketches, pieces shall return to each in their dreams. But hey! Hey, Professor, hey! Give me that old postpartum rag!
Under general anesthesia, after routine preoperative draping and preparation, the patient was placed in the lithotomy position. Genital conversion surgery, penile inversion technique is accomplished. Incision was made over the scrotum at the midline. The scrotal skin and...
By judgment of the civil court, St. Jean d'Angely, dated 10 June 1860. The record in the case of Hercule Barbin shall be rectified in this sense.
Then with finger dissection, we continued to form a large vaginal cavity. And once this was done, a large pack was placed in the area. And we returned to the penile skin, into which we placed a plastic tube. While the lower third of the penile skin was completely denuded, this was to act as a skin graft within the vaginal cavity, and the posterior aspect of the orifice was accomplished primarily with chromic catgut sutures, utilizing...
Amendment 1. That the name Abel should be substituted for that of Hercule.
We then tailored a labia majora, excising out the excessive scrotal skin, and returned to the before-mentioned purse-string suture, which was now pursed in such a fashion as to not obliterate the blood supply, but as to act as a new clitoris in the outward direction. Now, the patient withstood the procedure well and returned to the recovery room in good condition.
Amendment 2. That the sex of said Abel Barbin shall be substituted from female to male. So the record shall stand in the case of Abel Barbin.
You didn't think we could leave you hanging there, did you? Let's give these kids what? 3 years? Sure. 3 years to discover that there is no acceptance for their kind. Not 100 years ago. Certainly not today. And so, presto. 3 years have passed. Believe it. Hey, trust me.
I was such a fool to have believed, to have trusted, to have obeyed, to have thought that I would enjoy this. And who were you with such a grand stone? Cardinal Feather. How old were you, Cardinal, when you died? 52. Well, well, you were a ripe old churchman. How fitting that you should lie there and I should trod your bones. Tell me, Cardinal. Tell me. Now that you are beyond it all, tell me what are the rules. Tell me how I, raised to be passed from father to husband, from one man to another man, tell me how I am to be a man. But how would you know? You got into skirts just as soon as you could. Something I cannot recall about the significance of season. Poppy. Grandpapa. You and your sister were the only ones who could accept me for the preposterous woman I was. It mattered not to you. Poppy. I'm not a successful man. I was raised in a world of women. The only men I knew were the priests. And you, Poppy. Oh, excuse my deplorable manners. How is your neighbor this evening? Captain Bordeaux. Tell me, Poppy, is the distinguished captain scandalized by me? Most of Paris is. The incessant struggle between nature and logic exhausts me more and more each day and drags me with great strides toward the tomb. It is no longer years that remain to me, months, days perhaps, and in a horrible, obvious way, and how sweet, how consoling is this thought for my soul. Death is there. Oblivion, there. There shall the poor wretch exiled from the world find a homeland, brothers, friends. And there too shall the outlaw find a place. Poppy, can you recall the moment of your death? I cannot recall the moment that I fall asleep, though I try and try. Is death like that moment? I believe my mother often wondered about that. Can any of you answer that question? Can any of you tell me how I am to be a man when I am both man and woman? Can any of you light a candle for me?
I don't know. And you, I got a special bargain. 4 bottles for the price of 5. You'll love it. I don't know about you. What are you gonna have? Take those little nothing earrings? I can't tell. Hey! Hey, you cannot stop the show like that!
I just did.
I'll have you written out of the act. I'll have you replaced. There's plenty of freaks like you in this city.
Go ahead, make my day.
Not being very womanly, are we?
Maybe not.
You're certainly not much of a man, either.
Maybe I'm neither.
You answered all those questions!
Well, maybe my answers bred new questions. New rules to break. New lines to cross.
See, and you want the stage. Yes. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Make my day. Go ahead.
Abel died an artful death. He closed every window in his flat and turned on the gas from every possible fixture. An artful death at his own hands. Death and gender were once the property of the individual. Soon they were taken over by the community, the church, the medical profession, the state. His was not a medicalized death. It was then art. Something I don't remember about the significance of 0. As to being a man or a woman, must I be one or the other? Must you? Do you know what one is or the other?
A man has a penis.
I'm constructing myself to be fluidly gendered now.
A woman has no penis.
Do you know what you're constructing?
Men have sex with women.
Because you and I are constructing our gender nearly every waking moment.
Women have sex with men.
I simply need to be aware of constructing my gender, that's all.
I can have all of this enforced.
Oh, really? Well, I used to have a cock, and now I don't. I have a cunt. And I still fuck women. And women fuck me. And if the right man came along, I just might fuck him. I don't consider myself a man. And quite frequently, I doubt that I'm a woman. And you still think that gender is the issue. Gender is not the issue. Gender is the battlefield or the playground. The issue is us versus them. Any us versus any them. One day we may not know that. But today I live well, if underground. Nowadays when I leave a quarter on my father's chair, sometimes I don't. I sit there. I've said my piece. I feel curiously relieved. I feel fulfilled. You work out the rest if you have the energy for it. The outlaw has found her place.
Bravo! Bravo! Brava! It's very confusing, doesn't it? Wonderful words, just wonderful words, and to tell you the truth, ladies and gentlemen, to tell you the absolute truth from the bottom of my heart. This person has me convinced that she, let's just say she, all right? She has me convinced that she can do whatever she wants with her gender. And that has nothing to do with me. I don't want to live like that. Outside of acceptable gender limits, no. Outside the acceptance of my friends and my family, no. Outside the acceptance of my lover, no. Always hounded by the authorities, always questioned by the curious. No. I don't want to live like that! What? What? Well, looks like the boys and girls in marketing were right after all. They said we'd buy gender, and by golly, we bought it. We bought it lock, stock, and barrel, didn't we? Looks like you won't be needing my gender defender after all. Looks like it's already done its work. Thank you.